we'll start as we always do with our favorite underdog, and we're on the same page here. And it's going against your boys, the Washington Capitals, with a team that, I mean, I got to go back and look, but it feels like I think, four out of the last six times on the show, I've said the Columbus Blue Jackets are my favorite underdog, and I'm not gonna stop now. It's much more about the Capitals, I think, than the Blue Jackets. So at this point, at this number, better than 2-1.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I actually was really surprised at how long these numbers were. I personally bet some look ahead prices Monday, and then there's actually a lot of shops that opened with a better number. So I think this is a really good play. Columbus has looked respectable. They've played the Caps in particular really well this season. Um, and I think it's just way too long a price. This is going to be a close game. The Caps don't have offensive horses to put teams away right now. They could, or I shouldn't even say could. They're going to be without Kuznetsov. That hit looked pretty bad. I think at this point in the season, the year is over for the Caps, and even they know it. I would say after that Minnesota loss, and I just don't think the gap between these two teams is that wide at all. Darcy Kemper's also listed as day to day, which is pretty relevant. I know I'd kind of beat the drum early in the year that Lindgren would be an excellent backup, but he's been pretty shaky. He was pretty bad in Minnesota. Nick Jensen, still day to day. He missed Sunday's game. The guys who are replacing him have been bad. The Caps are, ooh, like I've actually been really surprised. I think last 2 weeks everyone's heard it a lot that the market continues to respect them and price them close to any team, any good team, and that's been pretty good. They've been struggling, so I don't really see how these two teams are this far apart. This is a massive number, and it seems like maybe just getting a little too tied up into the false hopes of any playoff berth or what. But yeah, I think this is just a great bet.
Yeah, I wonder, and it's like a name brand thing too, I think, right? Like this is still the Capitals and the Blue Jackets in some people's mind. I guess that's the only excuse I can make. I actually think a lot of times we say on these underdogs you could wait it out. I think that this one is probably the opposite. I think that I'd be
Right, I'd be
surprised if
surprised.
if this number gets any longer on Columbus.
I think the big money's all on Columbus at this number.
Yeah.
And even when I look at the lineups, I think the greatest thing that hides it, like you said, is the history and how these teams have performed overall this season. But it just seems like one of those things for a game tomorrow with who's playing. I don't think that the number should be this wide at all. Columbus has looked more respectable. If they can get a decent goaltending performance, that would help a lot. But yeah, I just don't see how there's enough factors to make this price so wide.
Yeah, we are. It's funny. Like we're trying to figure out why the number's this long, and then you remember. Well, I mean, the Blue Jackets are dead last in the NHL, in terms of
They
record.
are
So,
dead
so
last.
yeah, so like that. I mean, that's why the number's long, right? Like we know why, but in terms, like you said, in this vacuum game where the Capitals are missing so many bodies, this isn't the last place team in the NHL playing the 20th best team. It's really like the last place team playing a team that if you play this game over and over again or the season over and over again, this Capitals
For
team is
sure. And you
is
look at like a
is
lot of
lower.
when I look at the Blue Jackets losses, the ones I've watched recently, there's been a lot of those where I actually thought they were a lot better than the score. And I
Yep.
guess that's what's going to happen when you're a team that doesn't know how to win, maybe doesn't care to win and has awful goaltending. But it still seems to me like I know how this game's going to look. And I highly doubt the Caps are going to look like a team that deserve to be priced as this large of a favorite.